Afternoon, everyone. It's Rachel here, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. And we are going, let me just see if that makes a difference. It's a very dark, grey, super hot, super humid day, so it's not a good day. Anyway, no headache though, thank goodness. So what I wanted to, excuse me if my nails are dirty, I've been mucking around in the dirty books. I have been asked quite often, how do I decide what papers do I keep? What papers, do I keep? What papers do I discard, and why? And, from when rag papers, did rag papers come into existence, and how do you tell the difference? So I've been downstairs and I've been going through a few of the books, not all of them, because there's quite a lot down there. And I have pulled out some books to show some examples of what I have. I do have some more in my own personal collection, but they're all boxed up at the other place, so I can't show you those. Just a minute, I'm just going to move my little cutter there. It's in my way, and I'm going to take my shoes off so I can cool down a little bit through my feet. Oh, it's hot. Okay, so I found, now these books are not for sale, these first ones, because they are my, some of them are hoardy and some of them are puller aparty because they're falling apart. And then I do have others a bit later on in the video that I do sell, and I'll make note from when we get to that part. So please don't ask for these ones because I'm not going to sell these ones right now. I don't have enough stock of rag paper books to sell them at this moment in time. If I get some, I will, but I don't. Not of these type. Some of these other ones do have rag paper in them as well. So I found this one down there that I had forgotten about, 1618, and this is a hoardy. I mean, it's in terrible condition. Someone's done a really bodgy. Look, I can't even open it. They've done a really bad job. That's one of those swine hide covers. But I mean, look at this, 1618, and most of the books in that period of time were religious. This one's got, I mean, this is definitely Hoardsville. In fact, I haven't even, it's in terrible state, I will say that. But look at all these illustrations that I hadn't had a look at that for quite a while. So definitely rag paper, probably a more, and written, it looks like it's written, yeah, it looks like it's written in Latin or a mix of Latin and Italian. And it's definitely rag paper, but a more fragile type rag paper. I should get Steffi to scan some of that. And quite often, I don't know if I said that, they were of religious subject because only the churches and the monasteries had the books, and then very wealthy people. So quite often you don't, like they do exist, like the herbariums, that those beautiful books. And I have seen them at the special, when they do the special book antique market. However, they cost like a fortune. They're 20,000 euro, 7,000 euro, 4,000 euro. I mean, they're really expensive. I've seen these beautiful architecture books, like huge, and with hand drawn, all the different types of columns and column tops and all that sort of stuff, and they were like, it was 4,000 euro. So this is another very old one. This is 1718, and again, it's rag paper. You can feel it. So with the rag paper, you can feel it's very textural. This one is in very good condition in the sense it's got some water damage, but there's no mold. And it's very thick paper. It's quite often strong, not always, but quite often strong, and it's textural. You can tell the difference. If you touch a piece of rag paper, you'll be able to tell the difference. Now look at the state of this one. You can see why I keep these to put in my packs. This one doesn't have a date. It looks like it's written in, I want to say Latin, but I'm not sure. No, that's Italian, so it could be in Italian. Look at the font in that's definite rag paper. They quite often have this sort of very deckled edge. It's very thick, robust paper. And that is a definite rag paper. And I'll tell you what else I noticed changes is the font. So these are still in the 1700s. You can see a similar sort of font. It can pass on into the 1800s, I've noticed. And this is, let me just do a disclaimer. I am not a book expert, okay? This is just from the books passing through my hands, my observations, okay? This is not because I know anything particular about books. This is just my observation of how I've noticed over time they change. So the font as well. So this is definitely 1700s font. Okay, and quite often you find them in these covers. So we have another 17. Oh, this one's beautiful. This is Hoardsville. This one is 1734. And look what amazing thing was in there. Oh, this beautiful cover of another book there. And again of religious. And I mean, this is real Hoardsville. This is in Latin. And I am definitely going to put that into my bookshelf because it's got the music as well, the cantor. They call it the cantor. And that is stunning, and I had forgotten about that one. So that's that one. And then this is a falling apart one. I think I did sell some of these, and this I kept the really bad condition one. It's got worms and stuff. 1798. Again, it's big rag paper. Has the cover, and it's some sort of dictionary. And again, this is rag paper. It's a thinner one, but you can feel the texture. It's a thinner rag paper, and it's actually quite hard to rip. So quite often the rag paper is quite hard to rip. So that's what I have of the 1700s. I have some more, but I didn't want to pull everything out. So I'll just put those back in the box to go downstairs. And we'll come now to the next part. So this is the very beginning of the 1800s. And I did stick the little things in so I could be organized. And so these books are also rag paper books, and they have a very big indent where the letters are. And again, this is a similar font still to the 1700s. So at the very beginning of the 1800s, you're finding a similar font. And very robust paper yet again. It doesn't have the decollage, but really thick super paper. And you do find them bound in books. And I would tend to think that this was bound a little bit later. It might have been in this type of thing. And this one is 1804. And this, I'm not sure. I do tend to think it is a rag paper because it's very textural. It feels very strong. It is a rag paper, and it's got ridges, and it's just yummy. It's really, really nice. But you can see it's quite different to this rag paper, but you can feel it. It's got some element of sort of fibers in there. Maybe not as much as this one, but some element of fibers. They probably were. This is probably more handmade, and this might have been more pressed. I don't know. So that is 1804, and that is a book. Those types of books I do sell. I don't sell these ones. Only if I get like a large amount of them, because they're just falling apart, these ones. This one's 1806. Still very similar to the 1700s. Slightly different font here. But you can see again the raggedy paper, slightly thinner, but it's still very strong. So that's a rag paper as well. But you can find them in the bound books. And we will see, I brought a sampling of dates, so you can see how it will change. So the next one, I didn't bring any 1820s, but the 1820s are very similar, can be similar to this. Not always, it does change. This is 1833. So all of these bound books, yes, I do sell them. I haven't photographed any of them, so you'll just have to message me and just take note of the name if you want it. This one is 1833 is what I can read, and again, I think that is a rag. It's some sort of, let's say, a fiber paper, shall we say, because it does feel like it has the texture, and it's very strong. I feel like it's probably been pressed somehow, and it's different color, but very similar feel to this one as well. And there's a lot of pages in there, a lot of fun to be had, and beautiful cover to use if you would want to break it up or not. Here's an 1837. So, look, I mean, just lovely spine. And then, again, the thick paper. Now, I can't be 100% sure, but feeling it feels like it has some element of fibre, maybe a bit less. This paper's a bit thinner than the 1833, but still gorgeous paper. Really nice. Some of it's thicker and some of it's thinner. So, it's very interesting. So, similar style. And I've got an 1843 and an 1844 here. I mean, look at the covers. Just to have them in your library. Look at that. I just love them. Back to my mother-in-law. I was like, oh, you got to keep that one. Got to keep them all. Oh, something flew across. I thought it was an animal. So 1843, similar year. So now when we get to the 1840s, I did know, and it's not the rule, but I do notice that the color of the paper changes too. Now this to me feels, this is wonderful paper. This is one of my favorites, and this is the type of paper that I was using to do those tags the other day when we were rejoicing the old book pages. Probably 1840s, 1850s, I'm finding these papers. Sometimes in the 1830s ones as well, and sometimes in the 1860s. So, but it does feel like it has some element of some extra fibre in there to make it strong. And look at, you know, the wonderful condition of the book as well. So that's that one. And I think, yep, this one's similar. Similar, and, oh, they're just creases, I think. Some of the pages are coming out, but similar type, and they're in Italian. That one's in Italian. I didn't see what the other one was. I'm not, well, it could be rag paper. It feels, it's very textural, but we're getting towards the end of it, of the rag paper at this point in time. Now this one, yeah, quite a nice cover. I'd probably take the you know, the covers off and increase the spine and put some yummy textile or something. This is one that to me has been rebound, and I'm thinking it's mid 1800s to like 1850s to 1860s, because I am finding it's still a lovely textural sort of paper. I don't know that it's a raggy sort of paper, but it is super nice. This paper here is super nice. It's really one of my favorites. I love it, and you can feel that, very slightly feel the imprint of the text, and yeah, it's a really nice paper. And I'm finding this typical maybe 1850s, maybe starting 1840s even. They do cross over a little bit, the types of paper I'm finding, but that's quite common in that period of time. Well, that has been rebound. Now this one here is really falling apart. I think I've sold quite a few of these. This is 1853. And this is another typical paper that I'm finding in that time. It's a little bit thinner, but really nice font and really lovely sort of nearly ecru sort of colour is quite typical. So that's a really nice type of, that one's a puller aparter. I'm not going to sell that one in that state, so put that one aside. All of the others that I've, other hard covers, yes, can be sold, but not that one because it's in too bad a condition. And then this one's 1854, so let's have a look at this one. See, there's that paper again. It reminds me of this paper. Different, slightly different colour, but the feel of the paper is similar. It's not like the paper of like we have today. It's still quite textural, but I'm not sure that of the element of rag paper. I feel like the rag paper sort of, the last of it was the 1840s from what I'm finding. This is 1868, so we've just done 1854. This one even has like a little prayer thing. I would leave that in there. Similar type paper again as the other two. It's thinner, but it does have a lovely colour, and they do have still the nice font in them. So lovely, lovely book again. 1874, so we're going into the 1870s now. I love the cover. I'm not mad about the spine of this one. It is leather, but it's all worn off, and they've re-put that back on the top. I do like the cover though. I would alter that. Now this one, 1874, I couldn't find the date. Here it is. So this is 1874, and we're now moving towards, although as I said, this is lovely, this book. Oh, this book is really weird. Now let's have a look at this book. There's all kinds, it's a real mishmash, this book. It's interesting. Someone can have fun with this. It's almost could go into hoardy land, but I won't because I can't keep everything. First of all, I mean, look at all of the lovely graphics and things. There's illustrations. And then there's other types of papers in here. So it's like multiple books bound into one. Let's have a look here. Now here I'm feeling rag paper. This is like, this has fibre. This paper is, so I think this is a different book and it's older. That's what I'm tending to think, although the font is interesting. I don't know about that. No, yes, see, 1854. We've gone backwards. This one's 1851 here. So we've got, so you're getting a whole, this is a special book, 1850. How weird is that? Oh, 1856. This is really interesting. This is a collection, and there's more rag paper here. What an interesting book. 1853. So here you get the whole variety. I know you're all going to have a fight over this one. 1852. Oh, and that's really old. Now that is real rag paper, that one. Oh, what a fabulous book. I didn't even notice. I can't find the year. That's that previous part. This is old. I reckon this is early, the first half of the 1800s. That's what I think. And it's sonnetia. They're like poemy sort of things. And it's written in Italian, so I would want to say it's early 1800s. This bit, really thick paper, and lots of it. Don't know the date. 1877, and there you go, and there's the paper similar to the previous one that was in the 1860s. Oh, I could have just brought this book up instead of carrying the whole hoard up. 1857. Fabulous book, fabulous. Whoever gets that, I'll be jelly belly. Oh, and writing in the back. Hello, that's a doozy, that one. Okay. Right, 1876, this one. Another lovely cover in Italian. And, oh, God, I love this paper. I found quite a lot in the 1870s, these civil laws. They quite often have this paper, and I can't tell. I'm sure that the camera is not giving it justice as the colour, but it is really nice, and it changes through the book. It goes a bit darker, a bit lighter, but that's some of my favourite paper to collage with. I sometimes stitch them into journals, but I also collage with it a lot because I love that type of paper. Now, where are we going? 1880s now. 1889. And we're moving towards papers that are becoming a bit more similar to the 1900s. But I do still like the font. So when I move to the towards the 1900s, I don't throw all of those out. I love the font in this book. This book has a lovely font and lovely quality paper. I look at the color, the font, and the texture. They're the things that I look at in the books. Color, font, and texture. And of course, if there are illustrations, well, that's just flop on your floor, gotta have it sort of thing. So yeah. Colour, font, and texture. If it gets me going, I like it. So that's a good one. And lovely cover to use. Here I've got one of 1894. Now this is a small one, but then again you can take the spine off and enlarge it, make it bigger. And yeah, again, this is just moving. It's quite a textural paper, but it's very similar to the 1900s paper. Yep, so I think we're moving towards the types of paper that we all know, sort of thing. This one's 1890s, I think it was. I didn't have a date in this one. This is another one. It could be early 1900s, this one. I'm not sure, but it does. I love the color of the paper, and I love the font. It's not matte paper, but it's not glossy either. It's smooth, so it's not as textural as the other ones. But look at that font. I just love that, and it's an Italian-German book, but I do love that. That's a book that I love. Yeah, I normally pull those ones apart, so I'll put that in the pull apart pile because I like to provide in my packs. There's an amount of rag paper pages, there's an amount of and then through the decades of the 1800s, you'll have a variety of the different papers, and there might be some early 1900s or close. Look at this book. I didn't even notice that. How wonderful is that? This is 1900, but look at that page. That page is just special in itself. And again, the paper is lovely. It's not shiny. It's a bit like the 1870s paper, similar color, and wonderful font. Wonderful font in that book. There, I really like that one. That's unusual for the 1900s. Lovely cover that I would increase the spine. I quite like those covers. And then I have this book here. Now this to me, I can't remember. I think these are 1870s. These are currently, is it 1870s? I should have gone downstairs. Yeah, 1882. Yeah, 1800s, but wonderful font. Nice paper to collage with or reinforce and make envelopes out of. Nice big book. And I'm not selling this one. I do put these in my packs because they're great pages. Great pages for packs. Now, I did bring up some 1900s bits and pieces that I'm actually going to use as my, probably for gluing and stuff, but I don't like this one. This was early 1900s, and it's a medical one. I'm not mad about the, oh, the paper's okay, and I don't mind the font, but I don't like, obviously, all the thing, you know, the body stuff. Now, this is a 1900s book, and I love that paper. I absolutely love that. Oh, there's an illustration. How lovely is that? Yeah, I like these. So don't snob your 1900s papers, because just look for colour, texture, and font. That's what you've got to look for. And this is nice. This is not shiny paper. It's a little bit textural, and it has a lovely font. So, and I think that's already been and gone in packs. And then this is also from the 1900s, and I love this. I love the font. I like the colour, and I love the fact that it has illustrations. So I don't know the date of this. Yeah, it's lost its front page. Look at the glassine. They've wrapped it in glassine. So this is, I usually pull these apart, because you know, we don't, yeah, I just think they're really fun pages to include in journals or collaging or what have you. So that's more of a scientific sort of book, but I like those. I look for those. And then this, sometimes I just, you know, I told you the dealers put the books aside for me. And so I end up with all of these sorts of things that I wouldn't necessarily buy. This one's 1930, but this one's, again, colour, texture, and font. Now, this one doesn't have such an overly exciting font to me, but the texture of the paper is lovely. And I like the rough edge. So I'll probably glue on it. And then I'll probably collage, you know, a plain on one side for writing, and then just use the reverse side to decorate. So I would use some of that in collage, that book. This one, what was this one? I just brought these up. Oh, I love the font in this one. This one's 1900s, I'm sure. Let's see if I can find the date. Sometimes there's no date. No date. San Francesco, St. Francis of Assisi, I don't know. But there were no images in it, I don't think. I was really excited. I thought there would be copyright for all countries, it says. Yeah, this is 1900s. But the paper is actually quite nice, and so is the font. So I'm not actually going to use this as a glue paper. I might put some of it in my packs, because I love that font. That's one, I do really like that font. And it's really nice paper. Good size for making envelopes and things. So I might take that one back downstairs. Are there any illustrations? No. Occasionally I have found a date in the back. Let's have a look. I do like that paper. I think it's too nice to be a glue paper. No, there's no date. But anyway, 60 lira. That was El Cheapo time when it was 60 lira. That's not very much. Okay, so that's that one. And then I did bring up this one too. This is 1937. And I think I brought this one up because I love the paper. It has a nice texture. It has an interesting colour. And it has an interesting font. It's okay. Yeah, it's not bad, that paper. Yeah, I'll probably use it for glue paper. But I do actually quite like it. So I can use it as glue paper, or I can use it for collaging and bases and maybe little envelopes and stuff like that. So there we go. So I hope that was helpful. So what did I say? I said colour. So I think it's nice to have a variety of colours. So these are more towards cream, off-white. That's more ecru, like a dark ecru. And you'll see in my packs they have all the different colors. This one's similar to that one, and you just end up with a whole variety of colors that you can use, which is great when collaging. And never throw out also sort of these pages, like these sorts of bits here are great for the backs of tags, and these pages are great for the backs of tags. Oh, that's a lovely title page too to make something with too. So yeah, so color, texture, and font. That's what I look for. With obviously the choice is much easier if you've got super old books. You know, I live in Italy, so I do have access to, and I have lovely sellers that put things aside for me and stuff. And so yeah, I do have access to a lot of really old stuff, but also do not turn your nose up at the 1900 stuff, because there are some good fonts, there's some good textured papers, and good color in the paper too is what you want as well. So you want a variety. So these are all the types of books that I normally, so I haven't put, I've been a bit lazy. I haven't put any in my shop lately, but if you want to ask about any of them, go ahead. Otherwise, over the next week, this one, that's the Hoardy one. Over the next week, I will put some of these in my shop because I haven't done that for a while. And as you saw, quite a lot, half of them had the raggy type paper, but they also had the lovely, all these lovely types of paper. I mean, look at this book. I don't know why I'm selling that. I would sell that, but anyway, I said I would, so I will. I'm true to my word. Okay, so that's my video for today, guys. Really, what do I, it was sort of, the question also was, what do I decide to keep? Well, I keep anything that I like, the font, the color, and the texture. That's how I sort of go with it. Like, I really like that, so I wouldn't throw that out. I put that down. Well, actually, before I go, let's have a look in here. So from my time of ripping up books, I always end up with a little bit extra that I use in my projects. And obviously in my book pages, I try to give you as many of the older, I mean, if there might be one or two from the early 1900s, but if they are in there, it's because I like the font. And I usually just keep the ones aside that I'm not mad about, and I use them as glue pages like this one here. So if you look in here, this is sort of the leftover bits and pieces. Maybe they ripped, or, you know, I had an odd number. So in my packs, I take from 25 books. And at the moment, because I can, and because I've got the amount, this is a rag paper. Don't ask me the date because it's been here for a while. But I tried it, so it's 4 single pages per book. So where I can, I keep them joined. Because I do get asked how many pages do I can't count them. I seem to have a brain blocker. It's 25 books, because Stefan always gets confused. Is it 2 or 4? Because to me that's 1 and that's 2. But to him, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's because it's 4 pages. So it's nearly 100 single pages. It's about 98. Or at the moment might be 100, I can't remember. But if I have a big antique magazine, I'll put 1 page, but it's big sort of thing. And when I've got the books, I do the 2 4 pages, if you understand. It's very confusing. But anyway, I just wanted to show you this. I mean, this is an example of what I've kept. I mean, look at that paper. Now that's, to me, would have been 1870s. I want to say it would be 1870s, 1880s, but it's nice texture paper, nice color, different color to that one. I kept these. This to me would be 1850s. It could have been 1840s, this one. I can't remember. Very strong paper, this one. It's very strong, and that's, I have lots of books with that sort of paper in it. There's another one. This is like, I would say this one was probably 1860s or 1870s. Again, another different color. So this is, that to me, that's late 1800s or 1900s, but I like the font and I like the color. And it's even a bit smoother than these textual pages. There's more of that other, this is another, oh, we don't even have a date, but that's another, what do you call it? Raggy paper. This isn't one from the mid 1800s, I think, or 1860s. That sort of really nice color that I like. This is, oh, that could be 1800s, I don't know. I mean, I've just got a whole lot. I just hoard them. This I don't know what this, that's 1700s, that one. That was a bit of a leftover. I finished that one in the packs now. There's a different type. This could even be early 1900s, this one, but I like it. It's dictionary page. I like dictionary page. These are, I would say these are 1900s, very early, and I just like them. I like the color, because you need to have a variety of colors. I'm just trying to see if there's anything different. I love that. Oh, here we go. Here's, see, 1876. That was similar to the other one that I showed you. Where was it? What I thought was that time period. This one. It's very, quite not the same book, but similar. It reminds me of the font. There, you just, I mean, if you have lots of books, this will be or late 1800s or 1900s. I just liked it. I just thought that's awesome. Oh, what about shape? So this is a lovely shape to make large journal cards or tags out of too. Look at the shape too. This will be 1900s, but or late 1800s, I think. And oh, this one has illustrations. This one's actually early 1900s. It has some botanical illustrations. It's a bit hoardy, that one. I don't come across those very often. Oh, and of course, if you find anything, any date, any time, that has the German font, I love that. These ones, see, different colour. Here's a 1900s. And I just love the colour and the font, and I kept it. I think I've used a lot of that one. I'm just going through this pile that I have here. I think this is a dictionary. Look at that one. It's a dictionary. 1900, this one. Dictionary is always good to have. And, I mean, these are just leftover odd pages, or that we ripped them by accident when we were trying to get them out of the books. This I think is 1900, but I like the index pages too of those books, so I keep them. This is 1900s, and I love the color and the font on that. And I even did, it's got a bit of paint. I did some painting on those. It's quite a brittle paper, but great for collaging, because when you're, and that's 1900s, when you're collaging, you want to have all the different colors. Oh, that's just some stamped tea-dyed paper. That's, I would say that's 1870s or something like that. And then there's these two. I think they were mid. And here's 1870s as well. I have a lot of those. And that's 1900s. No, that's 1800s, that one. You can just tell when sort of go through your hands a lot, you do start to learn them. I think that one's 1900s. Oh, this one was all different illnesses. Yeah, 1920. See, there's the date, 1920. But I liked the the Anatomy of Man. Yes, we did see some interesting bits in that book. If you remember, guys, I got a bit of a fright. There were manly bits and things like that, and womanly bits. And I was gluing, and thank heavens I was off screen because you know, we've got to keep it clean. This one, I want to say late 1800s, this one. Oh, I ripped that one. That one, I think I've got some of that in my thing now. That's that's 1870s, 1880s, that one. Yeah, so just trying to give you an idea of what I keep. Obviously, I keep the rag pad. That one's got a bit of mouldy stuff on it. I probably shouldn't have that in there. So, yeah, and then what do I collage with? Well, I like to use these a lot for collaging, these types of papers. I don't necessarily collage with these 1700s. I tend to, these ones I would make into little tags. I'd have one side that you can see, and the other side for writing, or even just make them into little tags and put them in like that. Or sometimes I just slip them into a pocket sort of thing. So quite often the raggy papers, I put them in as journal pages. You know, put them in, sew them into the journal. If they're broken, I will collage with them. I will collage with the 1840s ones, the ones that are less raggy, but they do have an element of fibre. And I have collaged with this one. See how it's all ripped? That's 1700s, but it's all ripped. And I would collage with that one because it's thin. It's a rag paper, but it's thinning out because it's really old. Yeah, so most of these collage, these lovely 1870s ones are really great for making those tags that we did. But you could even do it with these ones, you know. Oh, look at that. You could even do it, I think probably fold those ones and put them in journals, I think. I mean, you can even embrace these lovely papers. I mean, they're still nice. So, 1876, that one. Yeah, so I hope that's helpful. Colour, texture and font are the main things that I look at, and then of course if there's illustrations, and that's it really, that's it. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope you have a lovely Sunday. We didn't do any crafting. I haven't done any crafting today whatsoever. Whoops, dropping it. But yep, I really wanted to address that. I think we've spoken about it before. But I thought I'd just have it. I think we spoke about it within another video, but I just thought I would have a whole video just about book pages. It's a video about, look at my dirty nails from, excuse me, I'll go like this, just to have an idea about what to look for. So I think if you're in a country where, you know, like Australia, where it's a little bit harder to find the really old books, really observe when you look at those early 1900s books at the 3 things that I said, and also consider that you can also reuse the cover. So if the cover's lovely, then it's worth it, because you can make a lovely journal in the cover. If it's, I mean, especially if it sells cheaper, like $1 or $5 or something like that, the cover can be a reason to buy a book as well. So I hope that helps, and I'm planning on going through the last video, the other video that we did where we talked about what do you use journals for. I think I'm going to make like a Leslie 507 Willow House Journals subby sort of book. I'm not going to write, you know, the hellos and whatever. I'm just going to write down just useful suggestions that you guys have made, because I quite often get really useful idea, like you suggest really clever things to me, and I forget sometimes. And I think that if you are not sure what to use a journal for, you should pop over to that video. Apart from what I said, there's some wonderful, I haven't commented on the comments yet because I want to write down what you guys were saying that you use your journals for, so that I can have a list of all the different things, so that if we have the topic again, we can go through the list. So there we go. I'll stop chatting now, and I'm going to head off, and I will see you again soon. Bye.